Welcome to B&B Studios, the home of Central Coast Rugby. Let's get stuck into another week of opinions and oversights from Berner and Barthy as they bring us the latest news. Good chat, good footy, good fun. Take it away, boys.
Well, welcome everybody to the podcast. 2 weeks to go until the season kicks off, Berner. How you feeling, pal?
Feeling good, mate. Feeling good. Feeling better now that you're leading us in. You're taking the brunt of the workload off.
You were a million miles away then. Where were you?
I was actually. I was just listening to Tomo. I was just thinking the intro just gets me every time. It's just passionate.
Vibrant, isn't it?
It is vibrant. How's your week, mate?
Mate, my week was good. You know why? You know why my week was good?
Why was your week good?
The Red Devils are back, baby.
Are they?
The Red Devils are back. That's official.
How good? Official.
They have met the requirements that was laid down upon them by the CCRU. And congratulations to everyone involved in the rebirthing of the Gosford Red Devils. So they're back in Premier 1 and Premier 2. So congratulations to all involved, and fingers crossed, and hopefully the work's done that can ensure that you're competitive throughout the season. You can field both teams throughout the season. So big ups for everyone at Gosford. And whilst I'm there, whoever does the bloody social media for the Gosford Red Devils, can you check it? Can we try to get you guys on last week? And would love to get someone on there. And,
maybe they are checking it. Purposely leaving us on red.
Well, that would be fair enough too. But big congratulations and big ups to the Red Devils. Well done.
That is a huge effort to get from having nobody at all, and obviously the history of sort of the last 5 years and the kind of players that they've had, and then to bring people from completely outside of their own circle. And I know some of them were lying within there as well. But to completely rebuild a club and have your Premier 1, Premier 2, that's a solid effort. Yeah.
So well done. Hopefully they're competitive. But if they're not competitive, it's an exercise in building a bit of culture, building a bit of backbone and steel. They've traditionally been fairly competitive, regularly over the years, and this might be a chance where they're going to have to do the hard yards, like every club has done. Like your War Boy did a couple of years ago.
Done that for many years.
Yeah, they're getting on the right side now, hopefully, fingers crossed. Warnervale, we're just seeing them come through a bit of a tough time, and hopefully they get on the right side of that this year.
But I think that on top of that it's the staying around. That if we really wanted to see we want to see a competitive competition. Everybody wants to see that. No one wants to see one or two teams at the top and everyone else is just sort of hanging around. You want to see every team in the competition competing for a final spot. That's when you get the best games of rugby on the weekend. That's when everyone enjoys it. The competition's competitive. It's healthy. You want to sort of have that. But if you're going to have seasons where you are going to struggle and you're going to go through a little bit, you want people to stay around and get through it. And we've seen so many teams over the last 10 years have those really struggle seasons where, they're getting pumped and they're like, we don't want to turn up again. We don't want to do that. But staying around only builds that, or cements that core group of players, which then you build that foundation around. So, if it's not Gosford's year this year, I don't know who the players that they got. I don't know the clientele. Maybe they got a gun squad, but if they don't, I hope it's ride the season out strong and just have it that first year back in, because it is a huge thing. We basically buried Gosford at the start of last year, and because we didn't think that you could come back from that. So
no, that's exactly right. I thought they were dead and buried. I didn't see them coming back, but they have, which is fantastic. It's great news. And
actually, it was only you that buried Gosford. You got a habit of doing that to people in clubs like this. So we'll just continue with that.
I was chatting with in some esteemed company there last week, which I'll touch on a little bit later on. But chatting with Larry and Todd, and I spoke to them about just what a fantastic resource or potential there is at the Red Devils in the location. Yeah, the clubhouse that they're sort of getting sorted and organised. Mate, they just need some really good direction, some really good people in there, and just they really do need to build from the ground up, and that's essentially what they're doing now. I really hope they can put in a good culture there that allows people to have fun, enjoy themselves, want to stick around, want to stand by for first grade if needed, because that club's got too much of a proud history to sort of die on the vine. And I really encourage anyone in and around that Gosford Red Devils club to really sort of honour the people who have been before you, and the best way to honour them is by showing up on a Saturday and doing your best.
And not even just the players, it's the volunteers as well.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
what can wear the players out is if the players are the volunteers, and that's when it becomes a bit of a long season. So, the more volunteers we can get into the game, and I preached it for Woy last year with it wasn't the issue with the quality of the people down there; it was the issue with the amount of people, and you just get burnt out if you're doing so much stuff. So, if you are a volunteer, if you don't want to play, you want to get down there and help run the canteen or run the water on the sidelines. Anything is such an important part of the day of rugby, and to build that culture. But congratulations to Gosford. That's awesome that they're back in the competition.
That got me thinking actually about old Gosford stories, and they're probably the team that I remember the most in regards to sort of getting beaten, if that makes sense.
Not really. Elaborate.
Well, I mean, I've played and as a player, sort of over the years we lost to pretty much everyone in the competition at some point in time.
Yeah.
But Gosford are a team that I remember sort of. They're the games I remember. There were a couple of games we played where we just weren't in the contest.
Yeah.
And that is unusual for the period of time I was playing at Terrigal. For most of the time, we were extremely competitive. But there were games there, even when we were having competitive seasons, there were games there. I remember. What's the old AFL? You probably wouldn't even know. They used to play at the AFL ground next to the train tracks. What's that called?
It's next to Narara Skate Park.
Yeah.
So when I started playing, it was Carrington Street Oval. That was a home ground.
The school.
Next to the school. Yeah.
Anyway. I remember playing in there, and we got a touch up. I think it was 33-10 or something like that. And I remember just going, when you just know that you just got no answers.
Yeah.
And that was one of those games where I just go, oh, man, we're just getting touched up everywhere, Yeah. And that was the great sort of Red Devil side of the late 90s. Had Adam Carlisle was fit, and he was probably only about 43 back then. We had.
Isn't it crazy that you're playing against him then, and I played against him as well, and he still carved us.
Yeah.
Like my stories are about what I hated playing against was got a tough forward pack. But then you've got Carlisle, and then when you had Macca there playing in tandem, and it just used to give you the shits because if you just played against Carlisle, obviously hard to stop, but you can see where a lot of their direction, a lot of their attack goes. Where they had Tim Hill playing at 12, he's a bit more of a direct play. Like that was kind of the goal. That was the team that I played against that was most feared. But then when you had Macca as well there, and which more towards sort of the later years as well. But those two in tandem, it's like it doesn't matter which way the ruck goes, there's something going to happen.
Well. The greats, the greats of Gosford, Mose, Hargraves, that Shannon, not Brian. I played against Brian. He's old man. Shannon's old man. But Brian was 103 when I played against him. And I remember just going we were just outplayed in every facet of the game, and that sort of haunted me because I never liked losing to Gosford. As a player or a coach,
Gosford's my favourite game to play. Gosford was always my favourite game to play. I didn't know why. It was always a good competitive game.
Yeah.
There wasn't too much anger and too much hatred there, and it was also a respectful game. There was just a little bit there. It was just the best game to play, and they always usually were very competitive games. So they were always my team. That when I saw them, I'm like, yes, it's the Gosford round. That was my favourite one to play.
I reckon. I got bashed up a lot by a lot of different clubs, but I reckon some of the hardest hits I copped were against Gosford. They used to have number 8 Peter Gray. You've heard of Peter Gray or the Hammer? That was it, mate.
I've heard of Peter Gray. I haven't heard the nickname.
Yeah, mate. He was good, very good footballer, tough, hard man, and a couple of times there when I'd come in and. Before coming in, I'd just make sure, try and find out where he was, and I'd decide if I'd join the line or not. And a couple of times there, just got absolutely poleaxed, and just gets you in half. And he's a great footballer. Well, they were full of great footballers back then. Shane Murray, you mightn't have heard of Shane Murray. Shane Murray played for Carrolling and Gosford in the 90s. Bastard broke my arm. He tackled me that hard. He broke my arm. And then
fragile winger arms.
In the 1998 major semi-final from memory. Anyway, they were a great side, and it's great to have them back in the competition.
All right. My very first game was against Gosford in the under-16s. I was a winger.
Yeah.
Ran down the sideline. Mitch Cornwall was. Now think about
Did
it.
he run you down?
Now think about it. Seagulling on the wing because he hit me and knocked me out my very first run in rugby.
There you
I
go.
was a winger
Yeah.
and got knocked out on the wing my very first run.
Mate,
I just ran straight upright and just went,
you got to be
straight
tough to
back.
play on the wing.
yeah.
Not everyone can do it.
No, obviously not. But yeah, congratulations to Gosford. Hopefully it's a good season from a good competitive season. Let's hope with that. On to a bit of trivia.
Yeah. I put it out there on the socials.
Why that game?
Well, mate, you just said modernise it, give it something new. So the question was, who won the grand final in 2015, and who did they beat? Kane, do you know who the answer? Well, I'll tell you what we did. We got a lot of response, which was great. Before I throw to you, and before you go to the barrel, we got quite a lot of response, which was great. Got a little bit of abuse as well, bit of online bullying. And look, I'm not gonna call anyone out, but let's just say I copped some abuse by someone whose name might sound like Blaine Kearns, and that's just the way it goes.
I'm abusing my own social media account because I saw the things, I saw everything coming in saying, was this guy's beat? I'm like, what is this? So I checked the story. I'm like, oh, you freak.
So anyway, mate, tell us about it.
Yeah, so
2015.
2015. So 2014.
No, don't care about the year you won.
No, we'll start with 2014.
The
Paint
trivia-
the picture. Make
the-
me feel
The
comfortable.
trivia was about 2015.
2014, where we beat Arimba. We're Arimba back then, Arimba Razorbacks in the grand final. And then 2015, it flipped and both teams played in the grand final. And Arimba ended up winning it in the end. It was a really good game of rugby. Like when I think back about it, I didn't think about, oh, this was a good game of rugby, but I remember both teams, like we played unreal and just couldn't get over them. And I think that we had the better team, but Arimba just won it. And also I remember that their coach, I can't remember who it was, maybe Dave Wood at the time, came out and said that they were in the grand final for 19 seconds in first grade. And he said, anything less than a win in 19 seconds in first is a failure, which is a huge thing to say about your club. Like, I just thought that was like, this is just nuts. Anyway, they came out and won 19 seconds in first. So it was a huge year for Arimba to come out and do it. So, on the game, I don't know what the final score ended up, but it was
27-20.
27-20, yeah. Because I remember in the end, like we were chasing a win and we could have got there. And it was then captain at the time, Nick Garnett. He's basically...
Actually, I think he had some disparaging comments when he posted in as well.
He did, which was strange. And he got it correct as well, but we've actually taken his name out of the barrel for the prize.
Right.
And that's just because of how poor he played in his captaincy choices on the day, which led to the loss. And, we got to call it how it is, and that, someone's going to take the blame, and unfortunately that was him. So 7 years later, he's not going to be part of the draw. That's just what he's going to have to suffer for that. But yeah, Rimba got the win. Really good game of rugby. It was a cracking match. Now look back now, like it was a cracking game of rugby. It would have been so good to watch. Like there was so many moments in there that were just firing. And I remember that everything was a contest. Like I remember there's so many times you just had like a loose ball and there's just 3 or 4 people just diving on it.
Yeah.
Every line out was just so precious. Like you're constantly like, because we played each other 2 weeks before in the major semi, and we beat them something like 34-30 at Joseph Banks Oval. So then when it flipped around, like it was going to be, it didn't matter if those 2 teams played each other, it was going to be 50-50 the whole time.
Yeah.
And they ended up just getting us at the end, and we had a guns that it was 2 really, really good sides.
Yeah.
Really good sides. So anyway, enough about that game.
So that was the result. That was the result of the trivia question. The answer was Arimba won, and they beat Warwoy. Bernie, you want to duck off to the prize barrel?
Yeah, the barrel. We couldn't
And,
fit the barrel in shot for this one, so I'm just going to go.
It's a little bit big. So whilst Burner goes up, all entries that came through the social media got put into the barrel. Burner's over at the barrel now, mate. Give her a bit of a spin. What do you got for us, mate? Oh, the suspense is killing the podcast. What do you got? Read it out. Who's won?
Adam Dankert.
There we go.
Adam Dankert. I don't know why the paper's so clean pulling it out of the barrel, but
There we go.
we'll get rid of that one.
Well done, thanks.
Well done, Adam Dankert. Prize pack, what's it going to be, Barthy?
They win a bottle opener, limited edition. Dankert, if you're listening, DM us your postal address and we will get you a limited edition B&B bottle opener in the mail.
It looks sick, by the way.
Thank you to everyone who got involved and helped out with their answers in the trivia. That was great. We love getting you guys involved. We will continue these, and as the season goes on, as I've mentioned before, fantastic sponsors like the Trojan Restaurant, $50 gift vouchers, which we can use as giveaways as well. So as the season ramps up, we'll continue in some way, shape or form to get you guys interacting with us. And it can be something as simple as just posting us and tagging us in your social media, what you're getting up to over the weekend, during the week, whatever the case may be. I really want to encourage you. And you know what? Encourage your rugby clubs to do the same. Now, we don't know who runs the social media accounts for all the different clubs. So, get involved. If you know who runs the social media for your clubs, get them to tag us. That way we can profile your club a little bit better. But thanks, everyone, for getting involved. And we'll do something again next week.
Well, Barthy, we were meant to get Ali Wartez on the podcast this week to discuss all things happening, women's rugby and also Avoca. Yep. But she's had a big weekend and she's lost her voice.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently, which is what she's told us, which is what many people have told us before, so it might not be true, but that's what she's rolling with anyway.
Well, I think she's in the leadership group for the Central Coast women, so maybe she's leading from the front.
Anyway, who we got on this week, Barthy?
Mate, we've got Mick Burgess on the phone. He's the head coach, club coach of the Avoca Beach Sharks. Also has a little bit to do with the Central Coast women. And so what better person to cover off on both topics than the come try it for the women's 17s plus this Wednesday night, I believe. Mick, you're with us there on the phone. How are you, pal?
Yeah, good, gents. How you going?
Going good.
Yeah, going real well. Mate, any inside scoop or information on the state of Ali and why she may have lost her voice?
Oh, I think it was that fresh country air out of Orange, mate. Might have done something to it.
It's no good for you, that country air, is it? That clean country air.
Mate, I actually think a few that made the trip might have the same mail. So see how we go training tomorrow night. There could be a few pull-outs.
Good stuff. Well, let's first of all cover off what Ali was going to do for us, and that's the Central Coast Women's Come Try It night this Wednesday night, I believe, up at the Haven. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we're trying to have a 15-a-side come try night to just to attract a few women to sort of come and give rugby a try that sort of might be a bit reluctant to try sort of sevens and tens. It might sort of really suit their style of game, and also in preparation for our country championships in June this year, because obviously we're playing 15-a-side up there, so it's just a good opportunity to try and, I guess, attract a few new players to the game. And also, part of the reason is, we want to have a look at some of these girls that, unfortunately, just don't have a lot of confidence to come to the rep trials. They think that they're not up to standard, but from what we see, they are. So it's hopefully we sort of come along in this environment and sort of, realise that they've probably a lot better players than what they give themselves credit for. So at this stage, we've got 33 players registered their interest.
Yeah, good.
Coming along, so it should be a good night down there. We were trying for a Friday night, but just with everything that's going on at the moment, it's hard to find dates. So we've had to, and you blokes are still on the limelight Friday night, which is what we have scheduled. So we, thanks to the Charitable Rugby Club, we're able to use, and Kate Thompson organising it. We got the Haven on Wednesday night, so hopefully we can get a few people down there.
And what time's that?
7 o'clock kickoff. And you mentioned, the leadership group. The leadership group actually come up with an idea of supporting the Sports Bar project, which is, Chloe Dalton, Australian Sevens player, who's sort of involved in that. And, we want to try and sort of see if we can sort of support that program as well. So asking people to come along and, donate a sports bar for those that can't afford it. These are just all the little issues that, the women players have that, as opposed to the men and stuff like that. So, look, we try and tie the two in together and make it a good night down there.
Fantastic. Now,
Unreal.
just for those listening, it's for women aged 17 plus. So it's a little bit different to what we advertised for the Terrigal Rugby last week, which was 12 to 17 years girls on a Friday night, the 1st of April. So this is for 17 years plus women looking to have a crack at the reps stuff and just get exposed to the 15 game rugby, which is sounds like a great initiative. Wednesday night. So get in contact. What's the best way to contact and register their interest, Mick?
They go onto the Central Coast Rugby Facebook page and they click the link and they fill out the expression of interest form. It gives us all their contact details. We've actually got a meeting tonight. We've got Prue Bright and Pam Proctor are going to be our invitational coaches for the two teams, and we're going to just go through and see what players have got and try and balance it out, with experience and newbies and position-wise. So we'll get a good trial out of it. So
this is a little bit of a north versus south format. Is that correct?
We were looking at that, but then we sort of weren't sure who we would get and if there'd be, how we actually divided the coast up and if we get a balance of, with the players. And so we just sort of, we're just going to pick sort of two teams,
Even them out.
Make it one team will run around in Avoca jumpers and the other in Trojan. So it's a bit of just bring that rivalry to the game as well.
you want to be careful who you put in what jumper.
Well, they put Hannah Stewart in a Trojans jumper up at the Lake Seven, so we might just accidentally pick a few of the Trojans women's players in the green team.
Put Sophie in the Sophie Dryden in the Avoca jersey. She'll be chilling.
And Emily Luce.
Yes. No, actually, no. She's my favourite player of all time.
You can't do anything, Emily Barth will get upset. Well, speaking of Avoca, how are Avoca shaping up?
Yeah, we're going okay, mate. It's been a frustrating pre-season, I think, for most clubs.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme with every coach that or anybody from any club that we got on is just the frustration of the pre-season.
Yeah, but so we sort of had to adapt a bit, training on the beach and doing a few sessions in the clubhouse. But luckily, through club contacts, we're able to use the Avoca Public School, which has been great. And we finally got to run on some solid ground Thursday night, so the guys went a bit crazy, and then. Yeah, went out to Orange on the weekend and had a great weekend out there, and good hit out against my old club, Orange City. So yeah, but like everyone, there's supposed to be people coming along, and we picked up a couple of new players, and there's supposed to be some old boys coming back. But I guess once we sort of get into it, and we got the Bay first round, so that'll be the President's Cup team, and then we've got Hornsby at home, and I think they're talking about playing that under lights, which will hopefully bring a few out of the woodwork and keen to get down there for that night.
And that'll be the christening of the new lights, is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
There you go.
Yeah, I think they're looking at a 6 o'clock kickoff for Premier 1 when we play Hornsby. They've sort of, graciously agreed to come up and help us, christen the new lights, so it should be a good afternoon down there.
Yeah. We could. That could be. We might cover that as the match is around.
We might have to.
Wow.
It's well.
Big special occasion.
Yeah, mate. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us a bit of a cover off on the women's game and how Avoca Beach is shaping up. And no doubt we will catch you on Friday night.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks. I'll see you then.
Well, Barthy, speaking of Friday night, it's a huge night planned.
That's it.
Season launch at Wyong Leagues Club.
Well, I've been given very strict instructions when I met the meeting of the minds last week when I caught up with Larry and Todd and had a bit of a chat, and we got given some pretty stern rules around what we can and can't do on Friday night. Most of them revolve around what you can't, what you're not allowed to do. But I've also got some information I can reveal to our listeners.
What is it?
We have 3 guest speakers. See, this is Larry Thompson. See, he just goes out and says, puts out a few feelers. Everyone says, "Yep, we're on board," and they come on board to do the guest speaking segment. So we've got 3 guest speakers.
Who we got?
We have Sam Wykes from the Western Force. Remember him? Good footballer.
Remember him.
I think you had some nice words to say about him.
Yeah, when I heard it was Sam, I was stoked. I used to love because obviously Western Force fan from way back. my favourite sort of back five of I can't remember who the props were at the time, but no one cares about the front row. Nathan Sharp, Sam Wykes is your second row, and then you had Pocock 7, Richard Brown at 8, Matt Hodgson at 6.
That's not a
that
bad.
was an unreal, and that was like when they were young, like young Pocock, and that was when they still old Sharpie and probably old Matt Hodgson, but the rest of them were just young. It was such a good team, so good to watch. Even though they had limited success, it's good to watch.
You'll be man fanning?
Yeah, man fanning. Definitely man fanning. Might even bring the Western Force jersey along as well to sign.
So
it can't be worn anymore. It's a little bit too tight, so I might have to sign it and hang it up.
So he'll be a guest speaker. For some of our older viewers and listeners, Richard Toms, inside centre, and Wallaby played for the Waratahs. He'll be there as a guest speaker. He's also obviously here to, or maybe not obviously, many people mightn't know, but he now broke his neck, not playing rugby, but he's going to be there to share his story and talk about his life post his injury. So that'll be really interesting. So he'll be coming along as well. Great, my type of inside centre, grafting, just straight lines. I loved watching him play. It was great. And the last spot goes to a bloke that everyone's heard of in David Campese. So the great Campo is here to coming on Friday night to the Q&A session and to our season launch. So they're our 3 guest speakers.
It's not a bad lineup.
It's a great lineup. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, I suggest you hurry up and get them. We've got a pretty good attendance that's been booked so far, so it should be a great night.
And obviously, the more guest speakers, the less room there is for us, which is probably a nice tactic they've used. And I think they've used it effectively. They've got good people.
I think that was the plan.
Yeah, they've gone for quality and quantity.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of us.
So, hey, you know what we might try and do too? We might try and get a few sneaky sounds of Friday night.
Yep. Oh, the sounds of Friday. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
No, not quite. It could have a great ring to it by the end of the night. We'll see how we go.
That's true.
Yeah.
It could have some good ones, actually.
Fantastic.
Or maybe we just leave them on the table, just go over to the Avoca table and just put it, press record and leave it there and listen to all the stuff they talk about and just play it next week.
Everyone who's listening, you're on notice. It's time to unveil our next sponsor, Berner.
Who is it?
I'll tell you who it is. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to
I
tell
was
you.
going to say, I tell you it's not.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm holding up because this is going to be the sneaky little prize for our YouTube viewers.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold up an example of what our sponsor will be providing. As I'm showing it to the camera there, I'll try and get a little bit closer to the camera. Just talk for a minute for me.
Yeah, he's getting there. This is Barthy trying to work technology. He's looking at one camera angle, the other camera angle, and going, "Is this right?" Does look good, doesn't it? If you're listening on Spotify,
looks absolutely bloody fantastic.
If you're listening on Spotify, you have no idea what that is. Watching on YouTube, you'll know exactly what it is.
So the first person to take a screenshot of this, screenshot of that, then we will get you a special prize to...
That is that.
That is that.
That looks like that.
That looks a lot like that. So I'll tell you what the business name is, Berner. The business name is the Block and Tackle Brewery. They're back supporting us.
Back for another year.
And we've got a bit of a partnership going with the Block and Tackle Brewery. And this is not what I was alluding to just then. For the ultimate uber special guest, if you do something absolutely amazing and absolutely outstanding for the community, for the podcast, for Central Coast Rugby, there is also an extremely limited edition B&B brew. That's right, people. We have our own beer. How good is that? How good? And I'm not kidding you either. We'll put it up on the socials. We'll might post it, say maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
I reckon we get it out there Wednesday. I think Wednesday evening.
Yep. So 100% legitimate. We do have our own beer. It's called the B&B Brew, and
it tastes amazing. First of all,
oh, it's like a rainbow dancing on your tongue. It is absolutely fantastic, and we have a extremely limited supply that we will be handing out to those lucky people who push the podcast, who enjoy the community that we live in, the rugby community, and supporting us and the community and their rugby club. So exciting time. So the Block and Tackle Brewery, a fantastic place in Kincumber. They obviously a micro brewery who I do a whole variety of different flavours and styles of beers. They are fantastic. They got on board last year and sponsored us with our monthly mouthfuls. They've stepped up their sponsorship this year. We've obviously got our own brand beer, the Bee and Brew, and there's
also this,
which if you are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to get one. And yeah, weekly prizes for perhaps players, for the people getting involved in the social medias. Yeah, they've ramped up their support of us.
And a great spot to go have live music there as well on a Sunday arvo.
Yep, they support the locals and local musicians.
Yep.
Good place for it. You get some sort of snacks, you get a great beer and a great place. So Block and Tackle Brewery support the businesses that are supporting us. Thank you for your support this year again, and can't wait to get down. We might even try and record a podcast from there.
Yeah, a live recording from there.
That could be good.
Yep.
We'll watch this space. We'll see what we can organise. So that's our sponsor.
Well done.
Yep, sponsor spotlight. Finished.
That does us for the week. Does us for the week. That does us for the week.
It's
done, getting about that time.
That's
where the T's and the D's are starting to sort of starting to cross over. So
those of you, sorry to jump in, those of you who have supported us and really got behind us, and thank you for your support in the last 5 weeks as we've just sort of getting the wheels turning, getting ourselves ready for the start of the season, which is next week. Next week is round 1 episode preview, which is exciting.
Yep.
Please get us out there, push, get us through the clubs, tell your mates, start listening. The content gets a lot easier now, doesn't it?
It does. We don't have to make it up anymore. Which is good.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching us. Thanks for being part of the preseason, or one more week to go of the preseason.
Yep.
But other than that, see ya!